And we're live.
Hey,
Hi,
exciting.
Cheryl.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 3 of Losing Your Damn Mind with Andrea. I am Andrea, and obviously this is Cheryl with me, our very special guest.
Oh, very special. Thank you.
Cheryl and I go way back now, almost half our lives,
I
actually.
know. That's crazy, but
we
awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of hard to believe that there's like your friends that you knew before university and then the ones that you met since, and they're just like they've just been part of your life for 20
Yeah,
years now.
I know. I know. Even the ones that I don't see, I'm still in contact with some of them, like Courtney out in Vancouver. Still, every once in a while, it's like, "Are you still good? Okay, good. You're still funny. Me too. Okay, good."
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good that we're still in contact. I think university people were the most important people in my life. Like, not that high school people sucked, but I just had a much better time in
Well, I mean,
university.
frankly, some of them sucked. Yeah. Some of them sucked big time.
None of the ones that are watching this, though, right? They're all awesome.
Hopefully. I don't know. Some of my bullies are friends of mine on Facebook.
Oh
So
my God.
but I like this is something that I've thought of many times about how when you're in like elementary school and high school, like you become friends with people, and in some cases it's literally just because you're stuck together for four
Yeah,
years or whatever. But
yeah,
then when you're in university, since you're the one choosing to be in your classes and choosing to be there, then you actually get to meet people who actually have similar actual interests, and they're not just
yeah,
forced together. So I do feel in some ways that those friendships, not that I don't have meaningful friendships from some of my friends in high school, I do, but yeah, the university ones, it's a different type of friendship, I think, in a way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
actually found a bunch of film stuff today, like old film stuff, and I still have like projects that I worked on that I'm just like, this was so crappy, but it meant so much. So I'm gonna keep it forever, and like my kids can throw it away when I die. But I'm like, this is important. I worked so hard on it, and I don't care that it's
I was gonna
terrible. I'm
say,
keeping it forever.
you remember like how much we stressed out, or like trying to book the editing suites and not being able to get in until like, okay, so there's a free space at midnight.
Yeah, until 4, so we're good.
Yeah. And just being alone in the hallways and like just super creepy.
Like, why are we here? Literally in the middle of the night. Like, this is terrible. Oh well, keep working. It's
Yeah.
Elaine will be mad. I don't want anybody to
And
scare me.
well, and the fact that clearly, like, I mean, neither of us are using our film degrees.
At all. Like, sorry, Elaine, you were right.
Oh, Elaine.
Oh,
All right.
funny.
So we're already diverging into like in jokes that nobody can
Yeah, no one cares.
understand. So, first question that I'll ask everybody, Cheryl, have
Huh.
you lost your damn mind?
I lost my damn mind. I would say I have moments of losing my damn mind. Sometimes it
Yeah.
was more earlier on. And because it was so overwhelming to be like, no, don't close the schools. No, don't close businesses. No, don't do this to me. And that was so overwhelming, I think, in the start. And now we're all used to it. So it's like, then it was moments of, okay, we have to go shopping and the grocery store is still open. So that's okay. So I'll go grocery shopping. And then the more that time has gone on, the more restrictions they've put in place. So suddenly you show up at Walmart and you have to line up outside and they're only letting so many people in. And I'm like, and in my head, I know that it's for the safety of everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I just want to get my fucking groceries and go. Can you just let me go? Like, I don't want to be here. Can you let me go in and get my shit and go?
Yeah.
Or like being in the store with the one-way aisles. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
Superstore doesn't have one-way aisles, but I think it's because their aisles are so big.
Yeah.
But everywhere else has one-way aisles.
Yeah.
And I find at the start, I'm good. I'll show up at a smaller grocery store and there's like a really nice person who's sanitizing the carts, and you're like, thank you. Thank you of me for sanitizing this cart.
Our frontline workers.
Yeah. And, and then you wash your hands at their little hand washing station and then go. And you're like, okay, I can handle this. And then I was at this store and I almost went down the wrong way because I wasn't paying attention. And I get like a death glare from the worker who's in that aisle. No one else is in that aisle. And I'm just like, really? Do you need to death glare at me because I didn't notice the arrow that's way up above on the sign? Like,
I go
all the way around, come back up this way, and that same worker is standing, stocking shelves, and like right where I need to be, but on the other side. And again, death glares. And I'm just like, I just want to get my kids gummy bears and go. I just need to get gummy bears for my son. And I just get them and go. And so then I'm like, so then I'm angry already. And I've been in the store like 2 minutes. And so I continue on my way. And I think I got everything that I probably needed, except something was probably out of stock, but it was fine. And then you have to like go pay. And so they didn't have enough tills open, and somebody came and grabbed someone and said, oh, I can help the next person over here. So then I followed them, and she's like, oh, I'm only helping her. And I just went, what did I say? Oh, for God's sake. Stormed off. And I'm like this close to just walking away and leaving my groceries. And I'm like, no, I need the gummy bears. So it's like, just stand here and be angry and buy your stupid gummy bears and milk and yogurt and then leave and continue on. And then that's when I realized, I'm like, wow, this is bad. Like going grocery shopping, that is when I'm the worst. And instead of appreciating all those people who still have to work there and deal with the public, I'm just so angry. I'm like, this is backfiring.
How dare you inconvenience me further?
Yeah, I'm just like, this is making it worse. This is so much worse. And so then I've changed when and where I go. I go to Superstore Friday morning at 8.
Yeah.
Because there's hardly anyone there yet. They're starting to trickle in. But you can just get in and out really, really fast. And they're very organized. And they're sanitizing now too, the carts.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very quick. So
I had a very different experience. Generally speaking, I've been getting our groceries delivered. But when the one time when I was like, okay, we are out of toilet paper, because unlike some people, we weren't hoarding it. So I was like, I have to go to Safeway. And of course, it's just like just a jump across the block for me. But so same thing, they've got like the one person sanitizing the carts, and then they give you the cart, and then you go in, and it's got it just had arrows made out of tape on the floor. But of course, the first thing that I thought to do was to go straight into the produce section. Well, I got to the end of an arrow, and then I was like, oh shit, where am I supposed to go now? Like which aisle do I go down? And then on top of that, I was like, oh shit, I can't actually remember what I was supposed to get when I was in here. I know I needed something in the produce aisle. And there was this one staff member just standing there, and he saw this look on my face, and he was like, hey, are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. I was like, yes, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll figure it out. I just need a minute. Plus I was also concerned that I was going down the wrong way. And I mean, it was like just before they were closing, and there weren't many people in there. So he was like, well, I think if the coast is clear, you're probably fine. But I mean, not from the sounds of your experience. But...
No, that's hilarious. Like, whoa, chill, dude. Like, I'm sorry. You're the
So
only one in the aisle.
yeah. So yeah, grocery shopping is definitely a completely different experience than it was.
Yeah.
Um, are you how are so Krea's is Krea 6 now?
Yep. Yep.
And Caden's 2, right?
Yep. Two and a
So
half.
how are they like, are they noticing anything different? Or are you finding that they're adapting well or at all? Has it phased them?
Yeah, I mean, Kreia has definitely noticed, and kids generally adapt pretty well, even if they're a little bit stressed about it. So what she has noticed is judo got canceled like right after hockey, right? So
Right.
before everything else was canceled, like school was still on, but judo got canceled, which I was sad about because that meant she was missing. They have a judo-thon where they have to throw each other on the ground. It's a competition to see how many you can do in 15 minutes. And I was really looking forward to it. And
Mhm.
I'm sure she would have too, because it's a fun event, and their wind up. And they were going to do a fight night where they were going to have somebody come in and show them, because they're just the young group, right? So someone was going to come in and explain to them, like, this is how an actual competition works. So I was looking forward to that, and it got canceled. And it was like, oh, that's too bad. But that it is what it is, right? And then school got canceled. So she went from living in Southie school to transferring to Grant Road, and then it got canceled right away. So I think she went to like 3 or 4 classes, and that's it. Because it's
Oh,
kindergarten, right? So they don't go every day. She was going Monday, Wednesday, and the occasional Friday. So yeah, I think she went like 4 times.
oh wow.
And then it was like, well, you can't go.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know if you've talked to anybody else who's got kids in school or any teachers, but they've done a crazy good job with going, okay, you can accept your current, I mean, kindergarten, they're not failing really anyway, but they're like, you can basically keep a passing grade or whatever your grade is right now, or you can continue to try to improve and we'll grade you, or you can just participate and no one will grade you, but you can still participate. So, and I mean, the teachers are sending stuff. So now she's gone from, hanging out with kids at school to like squeezing in a little bit of schoolwork over the apps on iPads and stuff. Like they have something called the Seesaw app, and that's how everybody communicates, is they send them activities to do on Seesaw.
Okay.
And it's really cool, but it means instead of having a school day, she gets like a half an hour when I have time to
Right.
do it, right? And
Yeah.
the nice thing is daycares are still open, especially if it's just a small home daycare. So my kids are lucky that they still get to go to daycare. The downside was most people aren't going to daycare. No, she's open. Any of the other parents who are working at home or got laid off, they've stopped coming. So there's like 2 other kids that come, and now we're leaving. So now they're going to be stuck with me for 2 weeks, and then start a new daycare that's open. And they're the one where we're moving. They're only open for essential services workers, and I'm considered essential service where I'm going to be. So won't be working at home. I'll be working in the town office, and they get to go to daycare.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I mean, we can't go see friends, and they can't come to the grocery store with me. She's sad about that. And we can't go to playgrounds, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm missing right now is playgrounds, because it's finally beautiful.
Hmm.
And I really just want to take them to a playground and let them be crazy and work off all that energy. But so, we'll drive by a playground, and some of them, if it has swing sets, they're like roped up so you can't,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I've
it's
seen that with
sad.
my dog. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's sad. So yeah, I mean, that's what she's noticing. Caden's not noticing as much because he's only 2.
Yeah.
So everything is good for him, right? Everything is wonderful
Yeah.
in his world, unless I'm telling him to go to bed, and then it's the end of the world. Or if he has to share, heaven forbid, I have to share something with my sister. But yeah, I mean, even though it's hard on Kreia, she's doing well, and being able to go to daycare is probably helping tremendously. And I would not be handling this as well if I had to keep them at home.
Yeah.
while trying to work, that would be, and I know a few people who are doing it who have small kids like
Mhm.
mine and are trying to work at home full time. And it's like, I don't know how you are still here and that
Yeah.
your family is still here. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Well,
it's tough.
yeah. Well, and adjusting, because for those who don't know, and I only just found out myself, Cheryl's moving away to Manitoba
Yeah.
in 2 days
Yeah.
during the pandemic, and is going to have to quarantine for the 2 weeks as soon as you get there with the kids. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's camping.
Well, I mean, you know my phone number, so if you want, I was like, I just need a break. I need to talk to another adult.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
call.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
with alcohol, like I'm taking, I have it ready to go. It's not going on the moving truck. It's coming in the back of my car so that I have it the first night.
Just make
So,
sure that they don't get into it.
oh no. Yeah. It's all for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that because they're still fairly young, that yeah, like I'm sure they get bored and whatnot, but hopefully they're able to adapt a little better because I'm sure probably teenagers more, I would think, are probably struggling with this.
Yeah.
And as I've been saying in the other podcasts or vlogs, I should say, um, part of this is trying to create a batch of resources for people, and not just when COVID-19 is happening, because I think, if anything, I'm hoping that one thing that comes out of this is just that mental health awareness and initiatives and services being available becomes a much bigger thing on the far side of this, because um, I think there's a lot of people who are struggling right now who like maybe have not had to deal with mental illnesses in the past,
Mhm.
and while it may not function like a mental illness per se, like the stress of the world right now and just the lack of control that anybody has with what's
Mhm.
going on, I'm sure is going to really change how people view mental health.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, kids included. So I'm just going to throw a link right now. So for the Kids Help Phone, if
Mhm.
you are needing someone to talk to about any issues, the Kids Help Phone is one of many resources that hopefully we will be able to share as this vlog goes on.
Cool.
So,
I remember knowing the phone number in elementary school, and we were getting a spiel from a teacher or a counselor of some kind, like elementary school, probably grade six or
uh-huh.
seven. And they're like, and if you need to know the kids' help phone number, and the entire class said it, and they were like, what's going on? Like, because we advertise and it's easy, it's eights and sixes, like hello, like we all know it.
Yeah.
There was this look of panic in that counselor's eyes going, are they all calling it? Like, what's going on here?
What's wrong with these
It's good.
kids?
Like, it's good. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I don't ever remember memorizing the number per se, but I do remember, especially like back in the 80s when, everybody had the same sort of channels, like there weren't the breadth and span of channels that there are now available, and not to mention different like streaming services and stuff and types of advertising. But yeah, there were certain ads that just everybody knew and was familiar with, like the Kids Help Phone. But then you had like the PSAs with the like, don't put it in your mouth because it might make you sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone knew it. And now it's like everybody watches YouTube and Netflix and all the streaming services. And I don't have regular TV anymore, and I don't have cable at all.
yeah,
It's all streaming services or YouTube, which
yeah,
is like, you still want to control it, but yeah, they don't watch as many commercials. Although there's still a lot of commercials on YouTube, a
yeah.
surprisingly large amount. And I'm just like, this isn't appropriate for children. Like, this is a children's show, and you're showing a horrible car crash, SGI.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, but now at the same time, my kids know, don't talk on your cell phone when you're driving because of these horrible commercials.
Yeah, but you don't want to traumatize.
No, mommy, this girl was texting while she was driving, and then there was a big accident. And I'm like, well, hopefully you just remember that when you start driving. Like, hopefully that's the commercial that you'll remember.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and make sure you never see it again. Because
Well, I mean, I guess, do you remember the commercial with Astar the robot? Yeah, like
I
he
put my arm
when you
back on
think of it, that
Yeah.
was like a really like dark kind of dystopian place that he was in, and then just to be like, wow, he just
I'm like,
loses
that's
an
kind of
arm and
boring.
he can
That's
put it
kind
right
of
back on.
horrifying. Yeah, that's kind of horrifying a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like I might have had nightmares from that. Like it wasn't like the House Hippo ad that everybody.
I don't remember the house hippo ad now. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
look it up.
it was like Concerned Citizens for Advertising or something. And basically, the point was, don't believe everything you see. And it's just this tiny little hippo that's been like, they use like special effects to show like a hippo hiding in like a closet. And it's like smaller than like as big as my hand, sort of thing. And there'd be like a dog barking at it. And then at the end, the narrator said something that's like, you could, like, that seemed really real, but it couldn't be true, right? And then sort of saying, don't believe everything that you see and ask your parents or trust or a loved one if you have questions, sort of thing. And I was like, thinking about it now, I'm like, that was actually a really responsible ad.
Yeah. Don't believe
Yeah,
everything you see. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
um, so anyway, so what are you most looking forward to when we go back to normal times?
Normal times. Um, well, again, the parks, like for real, that when you have small kids, that's huge. And I think like a week ago, I would have said the grocery store is being normal, but I think this is actually sorry, excuse me, because I'm shopping less, because I used to go all the time, right? And you'd be like, oh, I forgot to get this yesterday. I'll just go again.
Yeah,
And now it's like, no, I'm gonna just do without. If I forgot it, if I didn't put it in my list, I'll just be like, I'll just wait until next Friday and I'll go then. So I'm spending less money and I'm wasting less time at the grocery store,
that's
because
good.
it's like if you forget it, you just forget it. Like, too bad. You can get it next time and we just wait. So that side of it is good for me personally. But I guess I am looking forward to like less rules at the grocery store. And yeah, like being able to just take the kids somewhere, anywhere, because I don't want to take them anywhere. And I feel bad for anyone who's a legit single parent that has no one to watch their kid and they have to take them with them. Like they might, even if they have daycare like I do, you might have a very tight schedule where you have to go straight from work, pick up your kids, and then go get your groceries. And you just have to. And it's like, I did see someone at Superstore last week and all her kids were in the shopping cart.
Oh
And I'm like,
no.
that's what you would have to do, right? She had
Yeah,
two in the front and one standing in the back and just keeping them all contained.
yeah.
And it'd be nice to be able to like look at people, because when you pass someone, you don't look at them, don't
No.
smile at them, just look straight ahead or the other way and keep going. Like you want to be friendly, but it's like, but you might have germs or I might have germs. So don't look at me, because then you'll breathe on me and I'll breathe on you. And that's in my head. Why is that in my head when I go grocery shopping? Don't breathe on this stranger and don't let them breathe on you. Like, don't let them breathe. Yeah, that's dumb.
I don't know if that's a thought that I've had. Like, I think if anything, I'm in some ways more just not engaging with people, or like I wouldn't necessarily start a conversation with them, but just, is it just a human act just to be like, hello? and
Well, it normally is. Normally I'm like, hey, or whatever. And the kids would chatter, chatter, chatter. They love strangers. My kids love strangers and they love telling strangers that they love them, right?
right.
And so now it's just me. And I'm just like, nope, don't look at anyone, because then you'll breathe on them or they'll breathe on you. So just look straight ahead. And then every once in a while, I'll still go to somewhere like Starbucks and I'm like, am I contaminating myself just by going to get a Starbucks? Like, am I being selfish? I would like to just not have to worry about that anymore. I would like to just
Yeah.
be able to just go out and not worry. I mean, they're doing any fast food place I've been to, they're doing a tremendous job either wearing gloves or wearing a mask or both. And they stick a stick out for the debit machine. They like hold a stick out the window.
Yeah.
So there's zero contact, and you're just like, I'm gonna tap. Wow, don't put me on. And and then you take your order and you drive away, and you're like, have a good day. I'm not gonna breathe on you. Again, the good thing so far that I've noticed, and again, it's because there's less kids at daycare right now. The kids are way less sick, and I'm way less sick than I ever have been. And it's like, okay, so it's not just working for this virus, it's helping for all the viruses right now.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think even like just 3 weeks into it, I saw an article about how like the regular flu we're not having as many cases of it. So that's good. And usually about this time of year is when I tend to get like really sick. But yeah, between the hand hygiene and not just exposing myself to to germs like in public, I'm probably not gonna get something, hopefully. Although that said, it is spring, and so seasonal allergies have been pretty bad. And so like I've had a bit of a runny nose. Well, actually, we've had such a dry winter that I've had kind of a runny nose all winter. But anytime if I'm doing any like cleaning work or if I take the dog for a long walk, I find that I get a little bit of more of a runny nose and a bit of a sore throat. And each time it happens, I'm like, oh my God, this is how it starts. But like it's been, a month now and it hasn't progressed beyond that. So I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No kidding. There was a time though that like 3 weeks ago or maybe a month ago, where some of the moms in Saudi, and me included, were like, did we already get this? Because the kids were so sick in December. And there was something that for sure went through Saudi where everyone was so sick and had a constant fever was going all the time, like more than a day.
Yeah.
Or it would go away and then it would come back a couple days later. And it was Freya was like strangely ill. Like she's always sick at Christmas, but this was longer.
Yeah.
And we're just like, maybe they already got it. I'm like, wouldn't that be great if they already got it and it's over?
Well, I have heard a few people saying the same sort of thing, that there were some colds going around this this fall where it just hung around for a long time, and that people were just exhausted and couldn't catch their breath. And so because we know that the government in China didn't start reporting about it right away and tried to kind of keep it under wraps for the first little while. I mean, it is conceivable that, flights were still going, so there's nothing to say that there wasn't somebody who came back from China and then it started to spread. But it's hard to say, or it could have been a mutated strain of it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been anything, right? And like I said, Kreia gets sick every Christmas. That's our holiday plans. Kreia
might just have been like a rank cold. So
yeah, and then it would go like eye infection too and ear infection too. Like it was just like it kept getting worse. And then I'd be like, okay, so you're not coughing, but now you have an ear infection and a fever, and well, now that's gone, but now you have an eye infection, and then your fever would come back. Like it was weird. And I was like, I hate December like so much because she always gets sick. And next year I just sort of want to be like, I'm pulling her out of school 2 weeks before Christmas just so that she can be healthy. And I'm very tempted to go 2 weeks before Christmas. She's going to miss everything and just stay home because it's such a disaster. And then we have a week off right at Christmas, usually from work. And the school is closed at Christmas. And she's sick the whole time. I remember she sat, we went to my sister's for Christmas, and she sat on the couch just coughing and coughing and coughing. And it wasn't like a painful cough, like how people who are really affected by this right now, who are like having so much trouble breathing. but it was just, it would not stop. Like she kept coughing for the whole day. And we're just like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, well, I can't wait to get her home so she can go to bed. And then maybe she'll have a week to get better. And then I'll ship her back to school. And, you know, it sort of feels like there's not enough time with all of the event. Like, you remember being in elementary school, all the million activities that you do in school.
Yeah.
You've got like Christmas concerts and these events and this event, and then whatever else you're involved in has a million events. And so you're actually quite busy as an elementary school student and a high school student,
Yep.
being in a million different fun holiday events. And it's such a strain. And I'm just like, I don't think we're going to participate next year.
We're just going to opt out.
It's like, we love Christmas, but she needs to be healthy, because I just felt like I was really pushing her and trying to fit in all the fun. And really, she probably just should have stayed home and like cuddled and had lots of movie nights so that we could get better. So, but who knows? I mean, hopefully all this social distancing continues to help, and that it's still a slow spread. And, you know, I don't know when a vaccine is coming, but I'm going to sit on her if she doesn't take it, because she fights vaccines. She never wants the flu shot. And last year she struggled so hard. Like, I'm trying to hold her. To get, and she struggled too much. She's too strong. So it'll be like, well, when this vaccine's available, if you're not going to do it, I will sit on you. Because she has asthma too. And it's like, I don't know if she got it. I don't know if it would wreak havoc on her, if she would be in that elevated risk.
Yeah, she is in a higher risk group. I think anybody who has respiratory issues, or like Tristan had pneumonia when he was a kid. My mom, I mean, she's already in a higher category because she's in her 70s, but she's also a smoker.
Right.
So, it's worrying. So, but like, I think they do need to put the vaccines through their paces and like do a ton of testing before they release it out to the general public. But hopefully they'll come up with it quickly. But okay, so we're already over a half hour now. So, well, that's all right. I mean, we can start to wrap it up now. So what is something to end on a positive note? Do you have any go-tos or anything that you use when you need to alleviate stress, or that just generally make you happy?
I was trying to think of a different answer, and I can't come up with one. The only thing besides the love of my children that makes me happy right now is the show Lucifer. That's it. And it's always on, almost always. And the downside is it's one of many productions that got halted, and they only had a week left and like one scene to shoot or something, and they had to halt for their very last episode of the season. And now, because of this, post is delayed, according to one of the showrunners. So it's, the new season isn't being released yet, and we're just like, but I mean, I just watch repeats of that show and it's amazing. And then, okay, so a non-Lucifer related thing would be to alleviate stress. I've kind of let go of, I always feel as a mom, number one, it's very lonely. Number two, you're always trying to make your kids not be lazy, right? Like, oh, Craig watches too much TV, Caden watches too much TV. They're not doing enough of whatever. I'm not doing enough to help them have more hobbies. I'm not doing enough hobbies personally. And now, because of this, it's like, well, now I actually can't, right? Like, unless I teach it to myself online. So now I'm letting go, and I'm going, it's okay that they're watching TV, and I'm just going to sit down and watch with them. Like, I'm just going to be lazy and cuddle and let them watch Paw Patrol or whatever YouTube crap that they're watching, or like paint by number games. I've got all those paint by number games on my phone. They just click the number and the color. And I love them. So she'll sit on my iPad and do it, and I'll do it on my phone, and Caden will be watching some YouTube show on the computer. And I'm like, we're hanging out in my bedroom and we're all on a different electronic, but we're all together.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of accepting that as being like, this is what we can do right now. And I'm just going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
So between Lucifer and doing nothing, but doing nothing together,
Yeah.
that's, I think, how I'm not going crazy, because before this hit, I am going crazy and I'm always wanting to do more, and what can I enroll them in, and I don't have enough money for this, but I really want them to do this, and I don't want them to watch so much TV. And now I'm like, meh, screw it. Like,
Yep.
we just have to be like loving together and like help them not be stressed. So I need to let go. So
Yeah.
that's helping me, which is helping them, I think.
That's good.
I hope.
Yeah, no, actually, that was something that Jess talked about too, just that like when this first started, just that it's like, okay, well, we've got all of this time, we need to find things to do. And like same thing with me, like I've been feeling like I need to be productive. I have the time to be productive. Um, even though I wouldn't say that I ever feel like I'm not productive, like in the normal world. But yeah, it's I've had to, and this is something that like I've talked with the therapist about as well, to say that, if you don't finish something, or if you start something and then get bored with it, or just like there's nothing wrong with, just going easy on yourself, or if you want to have a nap, and don't feel guilty about it, because again, just having I keep saying I have nothing to do and nothing to focus on, which is not quite true now, because for the first couple weeks that I was off, yes, it was, but since then, since I started my classes again, that are all online, that at least for part of the week gives me something to focus on. So my mental health has been a little better in the last couple weeks because of it. But yeah, also if I have an off day where I'm like, oh, I'm just feeling blah and I don't really want to do anything, I'm not beating myself up about it, or trying not to anyway. I'm not always successful, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to be like, you get yourself down because you're not doing enough, which just makes you more down, which makes you not want to do anything. And it's like a horrible cycle.
Yeah,
And
it
so,
totally is.
yeah, you're just like, oh, I should have done this, or I wasted time, and I could have been doing blah, blah, blah. And that just makes you sad. And so then you just get lower and lower so that you're doing nothing. And
Yeah.
then I'm really depressed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, maybe tomorrow will be better, and go eat some ice cream or something, which is terrible as well. Like, that's the bad part about working from home, is I'm definitely not, well, not that I was eating that great before, but it's worse now. And, but yeah, I guess you have to just like be easy on yourself during this time and let yourself be lazy. There's a writer that I follow on Instagram, and she was like so she works from home anyway, but now she's like, I'm doing the jobs I'm supposed to do. I'm doing the writing jobs I'm supposed to do, but I have no passion to do the passion projects that I want to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just have no motivation. And it's like, well, that's everybody, right? Like, so changes are in her life, obviously, but not really. But still, it just, the whole situation makes you down. That like, if I had the money to go to New York right now, I couldn't because the world has shut down. And it's like, when you think of it that way too, that you're like, wow, there's a whole bunch of shit that even if I had the money, I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Just because the world has shut down.
Yeah.
And that's like,
although I keep thinking to myself that of all the times to be in a major city like New York, as a photographer, this would be the time to do it, because when would you ever have a chance to be in New York and have there be nobody on the streets? But I mean, obviously I'm not gonna risk that, not to mention I couldn't get across the border if I wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
But
still, yeah, I mean, you're in a big city that normally has a lot of traffic, and you're just like, the streets are empty. That is crazy. That's totally crazy.
Yeah.
And surreal. But also, I mean, it's also good to not be in a big city like that, because they all live in teeny tiny apartments, and
Yeah,
Don't, you know, if you're trapped in a small space during this.
yeah, living in a place with a low population density has been, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why our numbers are low, and hopefully most people are still obeying the isolation rules. I'm sure not everybody is, but hopefully those are the lucky ones. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I can't wait until all of this is done with.
Yeah, yeah. But I think too it'll be longer than people expected
Yes.
at first, because I think when everything started shutting down, people had like a 2 week, 2 month goal. And it's like, no, for everything to be normal, it's gonna be a while to be like back to I can travel where I want and I can shop where I want and I can hug who I want
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, as many people as I want, and I can go to a concert. Like, not that I was going to concerts, but I can't now.
Yeah.
That's gonna
We're
be,
choosing to not go to concerts.
well, and they're all canceled anyway, right? I wanted to take Kreia. I was gonna try to win tickets to Celine Dion because she was supposed to be in Saskatoon in April, and then I realized last week I'm like, that probably got canceled long time ago.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, yeah, that's done. That didn't happen. Like, well, maybe next year we'll try to go take her to I just want to take her somewhere where she can see someone really powerful sing. And
Yeah.
we watched one of the Andrew Lloyd Webber shows. I missed Phantom, and I was like, oh, if I had been 2 hours earlier, I would have played it.
Yeah.
But I did play Joseph for her.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, and she was sitting there and like, and kind of like pretending that she didn't like it. And near the end, she was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. And she got up and left. She came right back and watched the end. And I'm like, you like it. Don't lie to me. You like this. And Caden just kept saying, where's the naked man again? Where's the naked man? He'll be right back, honey. He's coming back. Where is he? And I'm like, they think he's dead. He's not. He's coming. Like, the brothers are singing about him. So well, yeah, he liked the show quite a bit.
Speaking of Phantom, I don't know if you knew that there's a sequel to the Phantom.
No.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of like the idea of there being a sequel to American Psycho, where, you know, it was all in his head, or, you know, Hamlet, or Hamlet 2, where, you know, doesn't everybody die at the end of Hamlet?
Didn't they all gone? Didn't they all die?
So I didn't know that there was a sequel, and I only just learned this last week after I had mentioned it on Facebook, and then somebody tagged me showing that the sequel was going to be on this weekend. And I was like, how is there a sequel? And I feel like that would just be terrible. Well, if you have the time, look up the synopsis for Love Never Dies, and you can wonder at who the 7th grade girl who did not like the fact that the Phantom did not get the girl worked out. Because wow, I was almost crying. I was laughing so hard at the description.
Who wrote it?
Andrew Lloyd Webber, or at least he was involved in it. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I love the Phantom, but that was purely a cash grab.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up though.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, maybe we should end this broadcast before I end up with a defamation lawsuit. But okay, well, thank you for being my guest, and I hope that your move to Manitoba goes as smoothly as it can, given the world right now.
It's crazy. It's just like the worst idea, like to move during a pandemic, move provinces during a pandemic by yourself.
Well, again, if you're really, really losing it, we could do another episode that you could be on again.
Yeah,
complete isolation.
Yeah, gone. I'm gone. Yeah,
well, amazing.
Sure.
All right. So we'll wrap this up and look forward to episode 4. Thanks. Bye.